Right now, at this exact moment, your body is performing over 37 trillion chemical reactions simultaneously. Your heart beats without instruction. Your lungs breathe without your permission. Your cells repair themselves in the dark. And you are almost completely unaware of any of it. Thousands of years ago, in the forests of ancient India, a group of thinkers called the Rishis asked a question that no civilization had asked so systematically before. What is the nature of the mind? What is the source of consciousness? And, most importantly, can a human being learn to consciously work with the invisible forces that govern their own body, mind, and awareness? Their answers became some of the most sophisticated texts ever written, the Vedas and the Upanishads. And what modern neuroscience is discovering today is that these ancient sages were not writing mythology. They were doing science. With the most precise instrument available to them, the human mind itself. Today, I am going to show you what they discovered. We will cover the Vedas, the Upanishads, the science of prana and breath, and what meditation actually does to your brain, according to Harvard neuroscientists. If this changes how you see yourself, hit subscribe. Let us begin. The Vedas are the oldest, systematically organized body of knowledge humanity has ever produced. Composed beginning around 1500 BCE, and possibly earlier, they are not one book but four. The Rig Veda, the Samaveda, the Yajur Veda, and the Atharva Veda. The word Veda comes from the Sanskrit root vid, meaning to know. These are literally the books of knowing. The most extraordinary passage in the entire Rig Veda is hymn 129 of the 10th mandala, called the Nasadiya Sukta, the creation hymn. Written approximately 3,500 years ago, it asks, who really knows? Who will here proclaim it? Whence was it produced? Whence is this creation? The gods came afterwards, with the creation of this universe. Who then knows whence it has arisen? That is not a prayer. That is a scientific question, a question about the origin of existence itself, written 3,500 years ago. But the Vedas were not only philosophical, they were deeply practical, and at their practical core was one concept above all others: prana. The Vedic sages described prana as the vital life force that animates all living things, flowing through the body along invisible pathways called nadis. They said, control the breath, and you control the prana. Control the prana, and you control the mind. Modern science calls this the autonomic nervous system, and the mechanism they identified is the vagus nerve. They identified 5 types of prana governing different functions. Prana, the upward inhalation force. Apana, the downward elimination force. Samana, the digestive assimilation force at the navel. Udana, the upward expressive force of speech and consciousness. And Vyana, the circulatory force flowing through the whole body. Read those again carefully: breathing, elimination, digestion, speech and consciousness, circulation. These are not spiritual concepts. These are physiological systems, named and categorized 3,000 years before modern anatomy. The key insight from the Vedas: the ancient rishis were not guessing. They were systematically observing the interior of the human body through rigorous meditative practice and documenting what they found. Their instrument was not a microscope. It was a trained mind in a state of still awareness. Which brings us to the Upanishads. The Upanishads are the philosophical crown of the Vedic tradition. There are 108 of them, with 13 considered principal texts. The word Upanishad literally means to sit down near. The knowledge transmitted directly, face to face, from teacher to student. And what they teach is a sophisticated model of the human mind. The Mandukya Upanishad describes 4 states of consciousness. Jagrat, the waking state. You are conscious, active, perceiving the external world. Svapna, the dreaming state. You are conscious, but turned inward. Sushupti, deep, dreamless sleep. Consciousness is present but not active, bliss without content. And then Turiya, the 4th, the pure witnessing awareness. Now watch what happens when you map these 4 states onto modern EEG brainwave science. Jagrat corresponds to beta waves, 13 to 30 Hz. Svapna, the dream state, corresponds to theta waves, 4 to 7 Hz. Sushupti, deep dreamless sleep, corresponds to delta waves, 0.5 to 4 Hz. Restorative, unconscious. And Turiya, the state of pure meditative awareness, corresponds to gamma wave coherence, above 30 Hz. The same state documented in advanced Tibetan meditating monks by neuroscientists in 2004. 3 great sayings from the Upanishads summarize this entire framework. From the Chandogya Upanishad, Tat Tvam Asi, that thou art. You are not separate from the universe. You are it. From the Brihadaranyaka Upanishad, Aham Brahmasmi, I am Brahman. The individual self and the universal consciousness are one. And from the Katha Upanishad, the metaphor of the chariot. The body is the chariot. The intellect is the charioteer. The mind is the reins. The senses are the horses. And the self, the Atman, is the silent passenger who watches everything. The key insight from the Upanishads. They did not describe God. They described the architecture of your mind. And modern neuroscience has confirmed the map they drew with nothing but meditative observation. Now the question becomes, how do you access these states? The answer is breath.